Douglas, Public Defender.
Nick Stevens, Public Defender.
Raphael Messi, Public Defender.
Give me 1 second.
Give me a moment. I just need to call over dispatch. I'm turning my radio off. Dispatch show 539 106 at Alta Street, off comms.
That's a point. You three go on D&D if you're here. And I'm going to quickly send a 311 through so they know we're not available.
Okay, we'll get started now. It is January 21st, 2024, 5:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Chief Justice Clarkson. I'll be presiding over this deposition. Again, if we can just go ahead around the table, starting with Sunny, if you can state your name, and what your purpose is as part of this deposition.
Yes, I am Sonny de Cavanos, the prostitutor.
Deputy Erin Barlow, Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
I am Celeste Bishop, State Prosecutor.
Vivian Malone, State Public Defender.
Tegan Douglas, Public Defender.
Nick Stevens, Public Defender.
Raphael Messi, Public Defender.
Perfect. And
That
with me,
sounded
I
good,
also
Wish.
have Associate Justice Joanna Poole. I believe the state called this deposition, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay. Barlow, could you please walk us through the initial interactions that you had when... Oh, actually, sorry, hold on. I know you already gave it, but can I get your name and rank and just for the court again, please?
Deputy Erin Barlow, former cadet. Call sign back then was 718, currently 539 with Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
Oh my God,
Thank you. I appreciate
congratulations.
that. Could you please walk us through the initial interactions that you had with the suspect when you arrived on scene?
Sure. I was the negotiator. I walked up to the door after parking my patrol vehicle, telling the other units at the time that I would attempt to speak with the individual if someone else could hold communication so I could just have a clear way. I believe 540J Harrington was the one that stated that they would release such information. At first, it was very difficult because they did not want to speak. They were only doing gestures, nodding, waving their hands and such like that, obviously with a machete in them kind of a little bit irrationally. They finally started talking with me. They stated this first: you have interrupted something sacred to me, and kind of hinted at something religious going on. I tried asking and pushing for what it was to try and make a point of contact, as we're taught, to kind of level some ground and kind of figure out how to handle the situation. They didn't give an answer. I asked if there was anyone else on the inside, who they stated that there was. I asked if I could speak with them. They stated no, due to the fact that they had given them a nail trim and they were currently unable to speak. I then kind of put my foot down and told them that if any further harm came to that individual, that we would enter, as they had already made the grounds to state that they have already physically harmed the individual. The suspect stepped away from the door, where Xavier Steele to 201 then called out to the hostage, stated that they were over him again, and all of us opened fire as we had stated we would. Once the scene was secure and there was no threat, I started medical until EMS attached, and then escorted them down a pillbox with the suspect and the victim. I read them their rights. They requested a lawyer. I called both public defenders and DOJ to the cells. The individual was deceased on scene before they did the transport. I then remained at pillbox with Xavier Steele while he searched the deceased to ensure that nothing was planted on him before we headed back to VPD for processing.
Okay, thank you. And sorry, I had an interruption in my mind when you were speaking, so I may be asking a question you've already answered. If so, just let me know. Okay. So my next question was, what were the indications that the suspect gave that there was someone held in against their will inside the home?
They verbally told us that there was someone else there on the point of contact. Again, they had stated we had interrupted something sacred to them. When I had directly asked, they stated that there was someone on the inside. However, they stated that it would be hard for them to speak up because they had given them a nail trim.
Okay, and then did they describe at all the condition of the victim that was inside the house, like their physical condition at all?
Definitely injured. As far as the injuries, no. Stated the nail trim, obviously, and stated that they were currently unable to speak, so assumably unconscious at that time. We had no verbal confirmation or any identification to see if the individual was okay. They were behind a wall.
Okay, and then at any point during the conversation with the suspect, did they show any kind of willingness to release the victim unharmed?
No, not that I remember. It was an uphill battle to get them to speak even.
Okay, and then so when the suspect stepped away from the door, I know you said that actions had to be taken. Sorry, I'm just going. You answered some of my questions, so I'm kind of going down my list. Hold on. Okay, so once the scene was secured and you were able to then view the victim, what injuries did you observe?
I had noticed puncture wounds, obviously the missing nail trims and lacerations from the machete. I don't remember exactly the numbers. All I remember was there was blood, and my objective was to try and stop the bleeding and try to help him and make sure that his vitals were steady until medical arrived there.
Okay, and
Sorry,
oh.
may I ask a question too?
Oh yeah, absolutely, please.
My question being, the scene before you entering, the officers, where were they positioned at the scene?
I was facing the building itself. I was behind a white fence. I remember there was two vehicles, one to my left, one to my right. Jay Harrington was to my left beside his vehicle. Further back, maybe, I can't guesstimate. I don't want to state that. Yep. Further back from me, giving out commands and have one angle. I remember James 257, 75, sorry, off to my right hand side, and then Steele was at the side of the building. It would be on the right hand side, looking into through that window.
So
I don't
there
remember the close proximity.
there was being windows to the building.
Yes.
Uh,
There was at least the front door was jarred open, and there was no glass pane windows. It was completely open. It was like a abandoned shack at the back of the building.
to your knowledge, did anybody on the scene indicate anybody inside of the building?
Yes, she stated that there was someone on the inside directly to me.
What about the officers? Did any officers around the area noting anybody inside?
I think Steele did. Yes, I believe Steele had an angle.
Did any officers on the scene indicate anybody else being in the area?
No, there was no one else in the area. We did a perimeter search prior to approaching, per usual. When we attached the 911 call, we circled the house before we got out of our vehicles.
Okay, thank
That
you.
would be Jay and I who circled.
Sorry to interrupt. I will have more questions.
No, please interrupt anytime you need to. So my next question. Okay. So given the circumstances of what happened, could there have been any resolution to this that
Objection, asking the witness to speculate.
well, it's based off of what their rules are and stuff like that is as officers. So it's more like protocol than anything else is what I'm more so curious about.
So with depositions, excuse me, I should have provided this. With depositions, objections are provided, but
But
the
I just
witness
asked the question.
will still be required to answer the question. The presiding judge over the case will review the deposition and rule on the objection right then and there.
If I may rephrase the question,
You don't
Perfect.
have to, but you can if you want.
well, I would like to, in case the objection go through, I did this line of questioning be dismissed.
Okay.
Let me take to rephrase. How did this scene resolve?
She attacked the individual with the machete, and we had to open fire, as I stated that would happen.
Okay, you had to open fire, shoot her down. And why again for the court did you shoot her down?
Why did we shoot her down is what you're asking?
Yes.
Because I had stated very firmly and clear, because there was an injured individual on the inside, that if there was any further harm to the individual who we were trying to secure and get out if they're alive, that we would open fire to protect them.
In your experience as a police, yeah, do you shoot people that are not a threat or danger to you or other people?
No.
Thank you.
And in this case, was there any alternative response that was non-lethal that could have been taken at that time?
No, she had a lethal weapon in her hand, classified as machete, obviously a type of knife, which made the situation escalated from the beginning.
Okay. And then Sonny, if you have any more questions, please. That was kind of the end of what I had.
Yes, I do have some more questions. When you're speaking to the defendant, question, how do I say this? Were you trying to get her to surrender?
Yes, I made several attempts on trying to figure out how we could get him out of there safely. I asked her, is there a way that this can end peacefully? I asked a variety of different ways and questions. And it was just met with no other alternative from her.
Do you remember specifically what she said to you?
No, I do not.
Okay. So you tried to negotiate to get him out, and she not wishing to surrender him. Quickly, in the police report, the initial filing of this docket, and during this deposition, you stating the scene was cleared code for. And the report indicating sufferer was cleared to roll in and provide medical attention. What does it mean to be called for?
Code 4 is something we say. It's one of our terms of saying that the scene is clear. It just shorthands everything for clear communication over the radio.
And for specification, what does it mean the scene is clear?
It means that there's no threats that could possibly cause harm to medical personnel or anyone who is standing by who can't handle the situation appropriately.
You say that you and another officer, Harrington, making sure the perimeter is secure, nobody there. Did you assist in clearing the scene, the house, making sure nobody else there?
I entered the room that they were in. It wasn't attached to the main house, as I stated earlier. There was no other entrances in, and they were locked. And yes, I secured inside the building. The exterior was secured by other units.
Okay. Can you, for the purpose of the court, describe the room?
Give me a moment. I'm just trying to relive everything. There's 3 steps walking up. The door itself was in the center of the building. I believe there was a window to the left and to the right, and possibly at the front. I can't confirm that one. There was wood boards constantly underneath your feet, kind of shattered, very tattered, worn down, weathered down. I think there was a few piles of clothing. The body was off to the right behind the door, as was her body as well, which was directly under the window. It was a very small room. It was probably half the size of the room we're currently sitting in.
Did you see any other exits to that room?
Besides jumping through the windows, no. The windows had no glass panes in them or any way of barring them up with any boards.
Okay, and when you're securing the perimeter and being on the scene, did you or hear from any officer or see yourself anybody exit that building?
No, we did not.
When you go into the building, did you see any signs indicating that another person was being there?
Besides the victim and the individual, no, there was no other individuals in the building.
Okay. Earlier in the deposition, you indicating when you get there that the Verity advising you that you're interrupting something sacred. Did you see any signs on the scene of something sacred?
There was a makeshift altar and a symbol that we had seen. A symbol was drawn, I think, in I would assume blood. I don't know. It was red in color. That's the only thing I can think of. And then there was the altar underneath the window.
Okay.
Again, with more red liquid and candles.
I have no further questions at this time.
Okay, is there anything else from the state?
Not at this time, I do not believe.
Okay.
No.
Then that concludes the deposition.
We would like to also direct question here, if possible, Your Honor. We did call Erin as a witness.
Did you request a deposition?
I believe we've always been able to direct the depositions, unless I'm mistaken.
I'm aware. Correct me, Joanne. Am I wrong? In order,
I've only ever done 2 of these.
I thought I was under the impression that only you can do so if you request it. Give me one moment.
Of course.
Oh, that would make Mr. Casey so mad.
It doesn't actually say. I know if we were to fall back on the United States, we're not allowed to. Let me see if I can get in touch with the presiding judge and see if he's fine with you guys.
Okay.
Did you say you called her as a witness or that you requested deposition?
So the Department of Justice called the deposition, but we have requested her as a witness under their subpoena with the request to direct question. as if she was coming to court usually. When I've done prior depositions, as long as you called the witness, you're allowed to question them similar to court.
I mean,
But I'll defer to your judgments.
I personally would probably do it.
Would this
Just because it's a matter of she's not going to be able to be present at court, and the defense would have to be able to like question her about so if she was like appearing as a witness and this deposition is being used for that purpose. But I'll refer to you, Chief Justice. Like the depositions I've done were a long time ago, before we had procedures for everything. So
Yeah. Let me give it 3 minutes, and if I don't hear anything, I'll just let it happen.
would the state be able to cross-examine after?
No objections.
Sure. While we wait, I am going to run and grab something out of my office.
Say hello to my pool table.
Other office.
I missed something.
I have no idea.
Did he put a pool table in there?
It is mine.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah,
put a
he-
pool table in there.
He has a pool table, and I guess she asked him for it, and he said that if she could get it out of the office, she could have it. So she's been talking about it for a while.
Are you talking
she
about
really
the
wants
one
it.
at City Hall?
Oh yes, that one. Shitty not going over
okay.
there, is he? I poor
No,
lonely
he's
kid.
not going all the way over there.
Dang it.
No, he's in the next judge's chambers over.
She just has it on her mind. That's what it is.
No, I mean, I get it.
Hey, me too. A free pool table. Those things are expensive. I'd be excited too.
Right?
You know, name notwithstanding, I am a fan of pool. Oh my god, hold on.
Oh my god, I turned off my phone for this.
It's always
That
the
was an
best way, otherwise you get
alarm.
loads of calls.
I got a crock pot going on at home. Hot dog.
Oh my god,
But you
I
left
love
something cooking and you're here.
Hey,
But yeah,
listen,
it's
it's
one
a
of those
crock
things that
pot.
crock pots you leave for like 6 to 8 hours on low,
Oh, a
and
slow
it cooks while
cooker.
you're gone.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
Well, yeah, I guess it goes by. That's the general term for
Sorry, I'm from
what a crock
England.
pot is. No, it's fine.
It's weird
you're right.
learning the American lingo.
I
No, you're
also
fine.
call people slow cookers if they're not knowing how to cook.
That is fair.
It's kind of like how you guys call like vacuums Hoovers, and Hoover's a
Mhm.
brand, but it's a vacuum.
Do you have a brand called Hoover?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys did.
As far as I knew,
someone
we just
does
call it
somewhere.
Hoover. That's probably
Yes,
where the
there
name
is a
came from.
Hoover.
Or like Kleenex. People are like, "Oh, can you hand me a Kleenex?" But they mean a tissue. Kleenex is a brand.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I got a slow cooker at home, right? Okay. I saw one of those cooking videos on this weird app that reminds me of clocks. And so it's 2 chicken breasts that are like frozen, right? But as it cooks, they're not frozen.
Yeah.
That
and
usually
it's, like,
happens when you cook something.
I know. Well, I don't cook very often. Slow cooker though, it's hard to fuck up. But I've done that
Yeah.
before. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so you put the chicken breast in there, and you put in like garlic parmesan sauce and like chicken
Nice.
broth, and you like season everything. You put like a whole block of cream cheese on the top, and then you let it cook for like 6 to 8 hours.
Oh my god, I
Then
think
you
I
come
watched the
back.
same video.
Oh my
That
god!
sounds
Okay.
so good.
I
And
need to
then
make this, but I don't have a
you
slow
put
cooker.
rotini noodles in there, and then you leave it for another 15 with like cheese to melt on top, and oh, it looks so
Oh
good.
my
I'm so
God.
excited.
Wait, so you have a whole block of cream cheese and then you put more cheese on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She didn't say it was healthy.
How long was I gone
No, I
for?
did not.
A
Like
very
2
long
minutes?
time.
My clock hasn't changed on my tablet. I'm
Oh.
very confused because I left at 5:27 and it's still 5:27.
Well, you better change your clock because it's
Well,
5:31.
Yeah, it's 5:31.
What is it?
I am looking
5:31?
at this computer right here. 5:31.
Oh, now it updated.
Killian,
That's
did you go back to the
strange.
future while you were gone?
That was
you
so
upset?
strange.
That wouldn't be the future. That would be the past.
He didn't answer, so I'll allow it.
Okay. I've got
Objection.
some,
The state objecting. I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
All right,
I've
we're
got
back,
some cross
and
and I've got
I
some direct.
just started recording again. So have fun.
Okay.
May I continue, state? The question your witness is a cross-examination first.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Firstly, Erin, congratulations on your promotion to your deputy from your cadet stage.
Thanks.
And just as my first question is, you mentioned they received a nail trim. What is a nail trim?
Don't know, but I was told after that their nails have been cut off.
Okay, thank you. And when you mentioned that she'd had the victim had it, was that the exact wording that the defendant used
Oh shit.
when you mentioned if the victim had been harmed?
Yes, that was what she had directly said to me, as I stated.
Okay, thank you. And then you mentioned there was a symbol on the floor. Could you describe it?
It was no, I can't describe it. I just saw it below my feet as I rushed in to do medical.
Okay, thank you. No further cross questions.
Is there anything from the state?
Did she ask about the injuries, the notary? I don't know if I can ask this question. I will try. Shit. Wish I could direct examine again. God damn it. Forgot to ask the question. Can I repeat ask a question?
Objection. They should have asked it in direct.
I will find a way to cross. Maybe. Oh shit, I don't know how to ask this question. I can ask the medic.
And then if it's allowed, I would like to direct question the witness as well.
Or
I'll just say no more direct questions at this time. If you'd like to continue.
oh,
Thank you. Am I able to direct question now as the defense, just to clarify, because there's no more direct questions?
Okay, let me try and. You said you want to ask a direct question, even though you're done with direct questions. I'm confused.
Sorry, that was cross-examination prior, the 3 questions. But we do have some direct questions where if we may.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So, when you warned the suspect about the potential harm to the person inside, what specifically did you say?
The typical, if any further harm comes to the individual inside, we will have to breach and act accordingly. Making it very directly and clear to them.
Thank you. And could you just outline what breaching is?
Approaching a building, moving in, one unit would go left, one unit would go right to clear the room or the building as needed, moving from door to door.
And you previously mentioned the positioning of the officers. How would they have moved from this breach?
I would have moved to the left, as would Harrington. Harrington would come behind me. The others would probably have moved into the right. It also depends on the situation. Not every breach is ever going to be perfect. It's really all in happenstance, so it's theoretical at this point, what I'm saying. Again, every situation is going to be different on how we approach everything.
Of course. And in this present situation, and did you follow your breach protocol of moving to the left and right? Could you outline it of what happened?
We did not. We didn't have to breach.
Of course. Thank you. And at any point in time, did you observe the defendant with a needle in their hand?
I can't recall.
Okay. In your initial statement provided on line 1 of the docket, it stated that you were in charge of negotiations. Is that correct?
Yes, I already stated that.
And at this time, and forgive me, I don't know policies of the officers, as a cadet, you were authorized to handle such a tense situation.
Yeah.
And do you know which officer gave you the authorization, or is it just a call you can make?
I'm confused at what you're asking.
In such a tense situation, were you trained to handle that type of situation?
objection, Your Honor.
What's your objection?
I don't like the question. No, there is an objection here. I need to think about it. It is I I don't know how to articulate this objection. It is the department policies. I don't know how to articulate. Celeste, help me.
Sorry, I think what she's trying to get at is that cadets are it is part of the policy, from what I understand, that especially if they're primary, and I don't know that she
the
was,
objection.
but cadets can act as though they are full-fledged officers on a scene. They usually have someone there to keep an eye on them and make sure everything's going well. So it's not
Speculation.
yeah, there you go.
I will go with speculation, questioning the officer ability to handle this scene.
Okay.
I do have a
we'll note that
rebuttal.
if you want to. If you want to rebut, just for the presiding judge, you may.
Of course. The rebuttal would be, I'm not asking to speculate, I'm asking on her actual training as an officer, whether she was trained in this. PDO are not authorized or privileged to view the SOPs of officers. So
No, neither am I.
clarifying this is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. You may go ahead and proceed to answer the question.
I need it rephrased because of the back and forth. Again.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I'll rephrase it for you. Have you received training to handle such a tense situation?
Yes.
And could you outline that training?
To handle a situation.
To handle one such as that, where you have someone who is allegedly harming another, whether the breach needs to happen, just go through what you would do in that situation with your training.
Every situation is going to be different. In that situation, I did what was the best in the situation, handling it. I don't know what else to say beyond that. We handled it as we could. On there, everyone's going to be different.
And how did you determine that was the best outcome using lethal force?
What?
The lethal force decision by officers to shoot the defendant after negotiations failed, how was that the best outcome?
Because the individuals swung on the downed individual?
Did you actually see this?
Xavier Steele did, yes.
But with your own eyes, you didn't?
At the angle, I could not, no, as I've stated over and over again.
When you were initially speaking with the defendant, what was their general behavior and demeanor?
Hard to tell at the original approach because they would not speak to me. Very abrasive, very short to the answer, didn't want to talk to us. Very hard to give any communication to.
And you mentioned the injuries. Specifically, what injuries do you recall?
Perfect.
Bleeding, I remember there being puncture wounds and lacerations. To what extent, I don't remember, as I stated earlier.
And with your own eyes, did you see the defendant actually cause any of these injuries? Please answer yes or no.
As I stated before, I could not tell at the angle that I was at.
Thank you. No further questions.
State.
Yes, I have some cross-examine.
Go ahead.
In regard to the injuries, when you are approaching the victim, was he conscious?
No.
Okay. Let me see. Who made the decision on the scene to breach?
As I stated, we didn't breach, we opened fired.
And who made the decision to open fire?
Xavier Steele would be the first one to fire, and all of us followed suit.
In your experience or opinion, why is it that Mr. Steele opened fire?
Because there was an actual threat to the individual who is currently unconscious with a machete being swung at them.
Thank you.
Is that all?
No
Yes.
further questions.
Okay. That concludes the deposition. Please allow me up to 72 hours to transcribe.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.